Hi everyone, I'm really excited today because Spellbinders have asked me to join in with a blog hop. This is to celebrate the launch of their UK website. So if you're in the UK or Europe, this is great news. If you've come across this video directly on my YouTube, please, once you've watched the video, pop across to my blog. There'll be a link in the description box here on YouTube, because on there I will put all the info about the blog hop. I'll put links to all the other people that are participating and links to the Spellbinders blog, because there is a giveaway. They're going to pick 3 lucky winners to win a £25 store credit. So you'll definitely want to have a look at the other inspiration and join in with that. So for my project, I've used this gorgeous set called Camper Life. Now this set won't be out for a couple more days. You'll see it in the coming soon section, I think, on the website. It's due out on the 14th of August. So if you're watching this before the 14th, you've got to wait a couple of days for it. So the first thing I'm doing is just working out which bits go where, and then I'll die cut all the elements kind of in sections, and you can see I've put them in little piles as to roughly where they're going to go. And I'm just going to start to put this all together. So for my camper truck, I'm going with a kind of aqua scheme. So I've got a light aqua and then a dark aqua for the this kind of stripes on the side of the truck. Now I should mention this set is called Camper Life. There's another set in this release called Sweet and Savoury, and that does kind of coordinate with this set, so you might want to have a look at that set too if you like this Camper Life one. In this set you've got 2 sentiments that say Happy Holidays and Merry Christmas, and then you've got this lovely sort of hot chocolate mug that sits on the top of the truck, so it looks like a food truck. So the Sweet and Savoury set's got extra elements if you wanted to go down that food truck kind of theme. There's like a pretzel, a donut, pizza slice, and all sorts of little bits and bobs. So you might want to get that, because obviously it extends the life of this set by making it a bit more all year round. This set has got Christmas sentiments, and I guess the hot chocolate kind of mug is quite Christmassy. But aside from that, I would say this is an all year round set, because obviously a camper van is actually probably more summery than anything else. So I think this is a very useful set, one you're probably going to use quite a lot. I just love the little caravan type theme, so I know I'm going to use this quite a lot. So I'm putting together the blind here, and I need to mention this. It's kind of like an awning rather than a blind actually, and you'll notice that it's got score lines and it folds. There's a little slot above the window that's going to fit into. You'll see when I come to it. But it's a very clever design because it will still fold flat. So although it's 3D, it still fits nicely in an envelope. So all the pieces are coming together nicely. With that mug, you don't have to put the sentiment on it. It is a separate die. So again, that extends the use of this. It could just be a coffee mug. It doesn't have to be sort of winter or Christmas related. You can leave the words off if you want to. I've tried to stick to sort of minimal range of colours. I think you can quite often end up with a card that looks really busy if you add too many colours. So I'm kind of sticking with aqua, white and red. My card blank is craft, so for me that's kind of my favourite Christmas combo. So you can see there I've put that little veranda through the slots, and I'm just putting some double side tape to hold that in place. I won't take the backing off that because obviously I don't want it to stick to my mat, but when I come to put that on the card front I can take that off and it'll hold that in place nicely. So there is a die in this set that cuts this little snowy hill. Of course it doesn't have to be snow, this is going to be a useful one as well. You know, cut it from brown or grey and it can just be ground for whatever other dyes you're using. And I'm going to pop that at the bottom. And then I can start to place everything on. I'm just working out the placement before I start sticking everything, because for this size card, I think this is 14 centimetres by 14 centimetres. The mug and the camper van literally are going to take up the whole height of the card. So I'm being careful to make sure this is all going to fit before I start sticking it all down. So now I'm going to stick the camper van on. I'm not putting any glue on the door because that door does actually open, which is quite sweet. And I'm just going to take the backing off that piece of double-sided tape I put on to hold that kind of awning in place. And then this element, this is kind of like the metal posts that hold the big hot chocolate mug on top. So I'm just slightly tucking those underneath, and then my hot chocolate mug can fit directly on top of that. I'm just wiping off. I've used metallic card for the wheels and some of the other elements, and obviously it's so hard to avoid getting glue smudges on those, but they just wipe off. So the last element is the hot chocolate mug. Now the wording cuts directly out of the front, so if I were to stick this straight on, you'd see the craft card behind. So what I've done, I wanted it to be metallic to sort of fit in with everything else, so I'm just sticking a tiny piece of metallic silver card behind that so that it's silver that shines through the wording, and then I'm going to pop that on top. Then there's just a few more details to add. I've got these lovely little, there's like a little toe bit, and some metallic elements for the bumper. So I'm just going to add in all these other little pieces. And I should have put this in as I stuck the truck down, because you'll see I want to tuck it in slightly, and of course that's quite well stuck down now. So I'm just using my pokey tool to just give me a little edge to tuck that in. And then there's some other shiny bits that are going to go on the bumper, and then that lovely little wing piece. I love that vintage camper look. And then I've also cut, there's a tiny little red piece which is kind of like the light at the back, which I'm also going to tuck in. I should mention actually, I haven't used all of the elements in this set. You've got for the coffee or hot chocolate mug, I've just got the steam coming out of it because that's going to fit, but there is actually a lovely sort of red and white candy stripe sort of stick to go in there, but I just didn't feel, because I have kind of taken up most of the space on this card as it is, I felt that would be sticking up too much over the top. You can see here my little pieces of steam kind of fit perfectly, so I didn't want to put anything any higher than that. So I've kept it to just these elements. It's a great set because there are other bits and bobs you can play around with, and as I said before, this really doesn't have to just be for holidays or Christmas, because the little camper van can be used with other sets. So now I've got all my die cutting done, I just want to add some final details to this card. So the first thing I'm going to do is add some snow. I've got a white gel pen and I'm literally just going along the background adding dots. If you wanted more dimension, you could do this before you start gluing everything to the card front, and you could use perhaps a stencil with some white texture paste. I know I've got a few sort of snow background stencils. So there are different ways of doing it. You could also put drops of something like a matte Nuvo drops or something like that to give the snow. So that's my background, and then I'm going to add some detail to that wreath. The first thing I'm going to do though is just work out my sentiment. Yeah, I'm going to pop that at the bottom there. But before I die cut that, I'm just going to add some red Nuvo drops, tiny dots, to that wreath, just to look like little either baubles or berries. And then the final thing is to just die cut this sentiment. So you've got two sentiments and then the outline. So really fun. And because I've got white behind this part, I'm not going to put anything, I don't need to put a background for that, because the white will show through and show that sentiment really nicely. So I can just pop that along the bottom and then my card is done. I hope you've enjoyed this video. As I mentioned before, this is part of a blog hop, so I will put all the info in the description box here on YouTube of where to find all the other inspiration and all the details to enter the giveaway. I'll also add details of all the products I've used, both here on YouTube in the description box, and I'll also put full details on the blog. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please do pop across and join in with all the other blog hoppers and see what they've made with these beautiful dies. Also, if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing, because I do post regular videos on all sorts of crafting products and techniques. So thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you soon.